Okay, I was hoping this was going to work okay. Let's see. Okay, I was hoping this was going to work okay. Let's see. I have a new microphone I was using, and it doesn't seem like it's getting rid of the hum of the computer. Huh. I have a new microphone I was using, and it doesn't seem like it's getting rid of the hum of the computer. Huh. Okay. Let's see if I do it like that. Interesting. Let's see if I do it like that. I guess not. Okay. Interesting. I thought this was definitely going to work. Okay, well. Okay. Well, if everybody can hear me, okay, let me know here. I guess not. Okay. Yeah, let me go back to the other microphone real quick before we get started. Let me see here. See how that works. This is the original mic. I'll give it a second here. See how that works. This is the original mic. Looks like we're not winning either way. Holy smoke. Sorry for the technical malfunction here. I thought I had everything working. Let's see here. I guess that's what it'll have to be tonight. Oh. Sorry for the technical malfunction here. I thought I had everything working. Let's see here. I guess that's what it'll have to be tonight. Okay. Well, let's get started. I don't want to waste everybody's time. Okay. Okay, here we go. Let me start off with the title image here. Tonight we're going to be talking about common beginner storyboard artist mistakes and how to fix them. I had a comment on this, and I thought this would be sort of a fun chat to talk about tonight and have some fun with it. And while we're waiting for everything to catch up here, I'm going to say hello to everybody. I got Maria on board. I got my buddy Tornado T, Useless Guy. Hey, how's it going? So happy you could jump onto the live stream. And Useless Guy says you replace old one with a new because of the noise. Yeah, I sure did. I'm going to have to. I thought I had it all fixed. I did a test run earlier on the microphone, and I guess it didn't work. On the video it worked, but on the live stream it's picking up everything. So again, if this is the first time on the live stream, please drop your name in the chat. I'd appreciate it. And this is a highly interactive sort of live stream, so I look forward to your questions. Shout it out, say hello, see who's hanging out with us tonight, and have some fun here. Okay, let me go to the turn that off real quick. Go to Big Paul. So good evening. How's everybody doing? I hope we're going to have a good time tonight. Yeah, I'm using OBS for this particular stream right now. I have to do the new update to it and try a different microphone going on. I got Bud Halibelly. Hey, how you doing? So a lot of new folks and returning folks coming onto the live stream. Appreciate everybody joining in tonight. Again, my name is Paul Angeli. I'm a live action storyboard artist, and I bring to you this programming 3 times a week on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. And I created this YouTube channel. I want to say about like a little over 4 months ago, and I wanted to create a YouTube channel to help inspire other visual storytellers. I always wished I had somebody when I was up and coming into this field to sort of mentor me, and I'm sort of putting together. I used to be a college instructor as well, besides a storyboard artist and animator, etc. I've done a lot of different things, directing, I've done all sorts of stuff. But I sort of wanted to put together this YouTube channel to share my journey and experiences with you friends out there who are interested in the medium of storyboarding, visual storytelling, filmmaking, comics, those type of things. I got a lot of different experiences in a lot of different areas, and I thought this would be a great way to have a side passion and help share with others. As I wish I had, and I've had certain mentors over the time too, but when I first got started, it was like confusing. Where do I start? Where do I begin? And so I think it's great to have this YouTube channel. I appreciate everybody's support. And I don't know what happened this last week, friends, but this channel went crazy. I think last time I checked, we're at like 824 subscribers. It's just amazing. And I appreciate all the support of all you friends out there supporting the channel, watching the videos, and that's just a great sign of support, and I thank you so much. It means a lot to me. So thank you for taking the time out of your busy days to come out and hang out with your buddy Paulie over here as we storyboard together. So I'm excited about tonight's chat. We're going to be talking about sort of the beginner mistakes and when it comes to storyboarding, and what are some of those pitfalls that you might run into when you're learning how to board, or and how do you, sort of like Groundhog Day with Bill Murray, how do you, that Phil Ryerson guy, he always catches them. Bill Murray is stepping off the sidewalk, and there's a big pothole it's filled with water, and he goes in and he goes, watch the first step, it's a doozy. So if you've ever seen the film Groundhog Day with Bill Murray, you'll know what I've been talking about. So how can I help you from stepping into those pitfalls or bear traps, and sort of get yourself to level up your storyboarding and stuff like that. So thanks for joining, and like I say, help support the channel. I appreciate it by you taking the time to subscribe, and that tells me, hey, listen, I'm interested in seeing more from Paul, and helps to support the channel, helps support this channel within the algorithm for YouTube, as well as hitting that like button and dropping a comment in the comments as well. So again, real quick, after the introductions, we'll get into what our topic is for tonight. But real quick on our programming, we meet 3 times a week. On Tuesdays, as of today, we're talking about storyboarding, mastering the basics, and it's sort of my how-to and demo and tutorials of those type of things to get the information you need to become a storyboard artist. And then on Thursdays, I do my sketching after hours. And with sketching after hours, It's sort of time for you to bust out those sketchbooks. I don't care how big your sketchbook is, but put in that time to drawing each and every single day as much as you can, and do use that as your exploration in terms of your drawings and things like that. And then on Saturdays, we have our storyboard jam sessions. And with the storyboard jam session, it's just sort of a time to just to pull it all together, pull all the information from the Tuesday storyboarding, mastering the basics, your practice on Thursdays. Then on Saturdays, we storyboard a particular theme or topic. I know during the Halloween holidays, we did a bunch of horror stuff. We've done a little bit of action adventure. We did a thriller last week, so some fun stuff to go and check out. Please check out those playlists. I have well over 100 hours of content for your viewing pleasure to check out in these particular 3 topics. Let's see, turn that on. Turn that off. And also, if you want to get in contact with me, I will leave you my intel right here. My information, again, my name is Paul Angeli. I'm a live action storyboard artist. You can reach me via email at mr.paul.angeli@gmail.com. And then my website is www.paulangeli.com. That's PAULANGELI.com. And then again, you can reach me on Instagram as well. And on Instagram, just to find my handle, it's under Paul Angeli. You'll find me pretty easily. I have a lot of folks that have submitted a lot of artwork to me or quick reviews on things, and so use that as an opportunity to get in touch with me. I generally post daily on Instagram, so you can see sort of works in progress and things for my artwork that I'm doing that's not artwork I'm using for a film or something else. It's just stuff I'm working on and playing around with. And then here on the YouTube channel, you can get a hold of me at any time. And then I left on below is my LinkedIn username right there for you. So I hope that information is there for you. Okay, let's take a look and see who's on the chat. We already said hello to Maria, Tornado T, Useless Guy, and Buddha Hellbelly. So good to see everybody. So let's see. Can you try to? Let's see. Yeah, you can try to set up your mic mixer on OBS, audio mixer, mic, auxiliary 3-spot button, filters, noise suppression. This might help. I'm trying to figure where that is. Mic 2. Let me hit this. No, you can't change it when you're in. Oh, maybe you can. Let's see, audio. So you said try to set up your audio mixer on audio mixer mic on the 3-spot. See if that helped at all. Here, let me. I'm trying to see if that's any different or any. Let me know if that's any better. I think I got it right. Auxiliary suppression. I thought I did that right. No, it doesn't. Oh, here's some other crazy thing in there. Give it a second here. I'm trying to figure that out. There's such a delay here on the video. That's a little bit. That's a little bit better. Okay, let's get started here. I'll play around with OBS later. Okay, good. I'm glad it sounds a little bit better. Thanks for your help, useless guy. You're super useful. Thank you. Got to change your handle. But I appreciate you trying to give me a hand here. Cool. Okay, so let's get started here. And so I'm gonna throw a question out here, and I'm gonna put it in the chat real quick. I want to make it sort of interactive to kick off a little bit of the questions and stuff. So let's. I'm going to throw out a question into the chat real quick. What would you like to learn about when it comes to the topic of storyboarding or visuals? So my question is, what would you like to learn about when it comes to the topic of storyboarding and visual storytelling? How can I help you on your journey? Cool, thanks, useless guy. I appreciate that. So yeah, I got to play with this, and maybe I'll have to do a private live stream or something, to myself to test it out and stuff, or just find a better microphone, because this mic is picking up everything. And I tried this. I have this Deity microphone system that I'm using. I'm just using the actual lavalier mic, and that's the way it goes, I guess. So Maria says, I would like to work on homework and workflow. Maria, more assignments given, or projects to do. So Maria, I just wrote in there too. I just wrote, would you like to see more assignments given or projects to do? And then Tornado T says, I'd like to learn all of the different shots and how to use them to convey the script more effectively. Very cool. Okay, that's something we could work on too. I'm just sort of taking notes as we're talking, so we can, when I'm putting together stuff, it helps you out quite a bit. So. Cool. Okay. Any other questions for useless guy and Bud Habeli? Is there any other things that you guys would like to be working on? Okay. Bud Habeli, want to learn how to I guess, show action in small spaces with face. I learned how to show action in small spaces with face. Cool. Then Maria says, yes, please. Or ways to practice in Sketchbook, maybe directing a film, IDK, how they work because of copyrights, how to break down scripts. Maria says, dissecting, not directing. Cool. Yeah, no, the reason why I'm asking is a lot of this good information to try to help out as I'm planning some of these videos. I want them to be useful for you folks. I'm having fun creating them, and right now I'm in the process. Right now, I've had a couple people hit me up for private consultation, and sort of do one-off private consultations. And I have some other things I'm working on too, to try to provide you some more information besides the YouTube channel here, so we can have some fun with this and sort of get to meet more face to face if it's possible. So cool. I'm gonna put those into my notes for some of the live streams over here and future videos. I was it was sort of interesting today. I was I know I've been talking about it and on the live stream here, and I've been videotaping myself and getting my what do you call it, your channel trailer, and I'm putting all the video together for the channel trailer and doing my first video, not aka live stream, so I could sort of give you a more of a condensed version of what we're talking about and sort of get to the point and have some fun with it. And it's a lot of work, but I'm having fun with it and stuff. I have one of my downstairs rooms is all set up as a little studio with a backdrop and the whole thing. So we'll see how this works out, and try to get that out and put that posted on the YouTube channel over here soon. So lots of things going on, working on a lot of different things. But let's focus on today's topic, which is common beginner storyboard artist mistakes and how to fix. So also too, Habeli says my goal is courtroom parody through cartoon stuff like the courtroom sketch artist, but comic. Oh, that's cool. That sounds like fun. I have a lot of experience in comic books as well, so very cool. So that'll be fun to sort of give some challenges on. Okay, but let's talk about what it is to be a storyboard artist and some of the common mistakes for a lot of people. And in this case, you could use it for comics. You can use it for you're doing animation or whatever. I think a lot of these processes are still the same thing that you could run into in a variety of different storytelling needs, and these are just from my experiences and what I've seen other artists go through, and I think it's a pretty interesting way to look at those things, because storyboarding is very difficult. It's not an easy thing, or everybody would be doing it, and it takes a lot of time to put that knowledge together. And we're going to be talking about some tips, and I'll give you some examples and things like that in terms of how to help you, in terms of your storyboards and looking at your storyboards, or looking at even if you're doing a comic and the visual storytelling of what you're trying to do. And most rules of thumb, if I'm shooting a film or something like that, it's usually a page of script is a minute of time in the film. So a page of script equates to about a minute of time of the production of what you're trying to do. And then, and I've always talked about it many times, it's exciting to be the storyboard artist on a project, whether it be a feature film, a music video, an animated show, whatever it might be. It's exciting to do. And if you're not doing it for yourself, your own college project or something like that for school, and you're working for a client or a director, it's a whole different ballgame. I'm here to visualize the film for the director. Some directors are absolutely fantastic artists and went to art school and those type of things. You have Sir Ridley Scott, the director of Alien, and so many other great, Gladiator, and recently it's been Napoleon. And he literally draws out in his ink sketches with some color on it, and does all the storyboards himself, and then goes and has his planning. I think there's a lot to do with pre-production, or other artists like Spielberg, where he's doing some thumbnail sketches and then works with the story team to produce based on his ideas of his thoughts of what's going to happen. So what's exciting about being the storyboard artist is you get first crack at the visuals of the particular story, because I would say quite a few directors are artistic behind the camera, but not necessarily with a pen and paper or drawing each of the shots and visualizing. So it makes it imperative for folks like myself, for you or other pros out there, to be able to visualize these story elements or these story sequences for the director. And so if I'm working on my own personal work, that's my business. But when I'm working for a director, I want to make sure that their vision is secure, and I'm visually demonstrating what they see in their mind's eye, and helping to provide value with problem solving and other forms to help bring that vision alive. And the storyboard artists, their part is just one piece of the whole artistic collaboration amongst all the different roles within a film: the cinematographer, the director, the audio engineers, the gaffers, the talent, the stunt people, the special effects artists. It's just a bunch of artists working together to create these multi-million-dollar films, and hopefully it's a successful project that everybody is working so hard together, and hopefully it delights and entertains audiences out there, or educates if you're working on an educational documentary or something like that. So it's always exciting. So what we're trying to do is tune ourselves up, that we don't run into those pitfalls that sort of you could work on, so your storyboards are the best they can be. I have a whole list of things here to sort of look at, and how can you go forward with what you're doing. So let's talk about it a little bit. The first one I usually see a lot, and I see a lot in storyboards, and and these things too. I'm guilty of it too, and I've learned how to improve my work as well. But let's go over some of that stuff here. So I'm gonna turn off Big Paul, go to Little Paul here, and over here in storyboards. So tonight we're talking about common beginner storyboard artist mistakes, and let's bring that in just a tad bit. So let's talk about those mistakes, and what can we do, and what can we do to learn from them as well. So let's add a new layer in here. Get that back down there. Okay, cool. Let's turn that off. Let's get a blue pen here. Put my stylus. Stylus was hiding. Okay, cool. Get a little bit thicker there. So let's talk about the common mistakes that we usually see going on. And I think let's start off with let's talk about the frame being too tight. And what I mean by that is, when you're drawing a frame and you're working in the picture frame, usually we're too tight. Meaning, like, say I have something going on here, and there's a character here, and another character here. It's just too tight. And what I mean by that is there's not a lot of space in that shot. And if you look at it, there's not a lot of space in that shot. It's really tight. It's claustrophobic, and not saying that you can't do this. I'm just saying that it's usually a problem, because it's too tight. And if you're trying to do an emotion or something like that, sure, knock yourself out and do that tight shot, or that, and what we mean by that is like a close-up shot or something like that. So if you're going to do that shot and it's meant to be, that's one thing. But if it's not meant to be that way, and every shot is that tight shot, that's going to be a little bit of a problem. So what I mean by that is, like, if I have a shot here and you want that shot to be tight, because I'm I want to see an emotion or whatever it might be, because I want to see the emotion of that character. That makes sense. So you want it to be tight, but a lot of the times people make these shots too tight. And so what you want to do is, say we have this shot we were working on right here. Turn that back off again. And instead of having that shot like this, let's grab that shot. So you can see the difference. Let's grab those characters. And all you're doing is, I would seriously just drop it down about 10-20%, or even more, because you're trying to give some room in that shot. You know, like I said, I could totally understand if you're doing a close-up shot or something like that, and you want to show the emotion. The character's crying, they're happy, they're mischievous, whatever it might be. So yeah, you can do that close-up shot and have a really good shot there, and to express the emotion. But when you have a character that's always cut on a mid shot, there's not, or they're too close, you want to have some space, because you want to be able to have the actor act in that shot as well. So you want to be able to show some gesture, show some movement, and you can't really do that when that shot is so tight, because, you know, if I'm adding some arms in there, or, you know, they're drinking or whatever, you know, it's like it's just too tight, you know, unless like this, where this character here on this other shot, maybe he's calling the waiter or something, and he's just bored stiff. He's got some emotion here, you know, and maybe this character is reading the menu, or, you know what I mean. You have some space to work around, and here's the diner or whatever. You have the waitress in the back or something, you know what I mean. Really simple. We're just trying really simple right now, and you know, that frame is too tight. Another example would be, you know, we want to see, maybe you might do, you know, so how do you correct this? You know, so how do you correct that particular shot? So you could correct it by giving more space, and you could look at the full shot. Okay, or you know, you can do a wide shot. I think extreme wide is pushing it too far, But you could use these two shots, and what the full shot does is it's going to show that whole character in all their glory. So we can see that, and we can see that character, you know, as in the full shot is from the top of the head to the bottom of the feet or within the frame, and that's all that means, and that's that full shot. Yeah, you know, and we can see that character, and we can play around with that character, whichever way we're going to be working, you know, and we could. We could have some fun. Maybe he's got a gun or something like that. And these are very simple depictions of what we're talking about. But when you have some more space and we're working on a John Wick film, a John Wick film isn't going to be really working too well if every shot is a close-up of Keanu's John Wick character. You know, we want to be able to see John Wick, in action. You know, what is he doing? How's he doing? You know, we want to make sure that if he's kicking butt, we got to be able to see that whole character doing something, you know, in that shot. And so we want to have some space around this character so he could throw a roundhouse or whatever, or kick that other guy, you know. You know, we want to be able to see that. So that's an example I would give of, you know, when you're storyboarding, don't keep that shot too close. Move that shot is too tight. The frame is too tight around that shot. Move back a little bit, you know. So if you're used to drawing a certain way, shrink your drawing. I would say 10 to 20%. Give some space. Give it some space. Give it some little bit of space in the shot, and that'll help out your storyboards in terms of what you're doing. And I'm not saying don't have that close-up shot. If I need to have that close-up of shot of that female character, with a surprised look, we need to have that surprised look on her. Then go for it. Get that done. You know what I mean? You know, have that close up if you need it, but most of the time you want to back that shot off. And I usually see that in a lot of storyboard shots, where we're just too close in, and I want to see some action going on. If I have a gunfight or something like that, or a shootout, I want to see some. If you're always close up on the fist all the time, it's just not going to work. So let's back this out a little bit. I hope that makes sense. Any questions on that? So common mistakes. Shot is too tight, so we want to back it out. Go back to the full shot. A full shot is from head to toe of the character, or a wide shot. A wide shot where we see that character in the environment, a little bit more of, and also too, a wide shot or a full shot actually helps you to tell you where everybody is. We call it the master shot, and that helps out quite a bit too. So if I'm got multiple characters in a sequence, let me throw another example on there. It's like, so if there's three characters talking, and maybe there's a, let me just see how I'm gonna do this. Maybe there's a car here. Got a character sitting on the edge of the car, on the hood of the car, type of thing. There's our thumbnail. There's a character here. Maybe there's another character here talking. Then maybe there's a closer character. Over here, and when I have that more of that shot here, we sort of know who's the focus is. We see where character 1, character 2, character 3, and we can sort of see where everybody is. So, and if we cut away, we know where each of those characters are in that master shot. So go back in, check out one of the previous videos in Mastering the Basics about the master shot and about the establishing shot and how those shots work for you. Take a quick little sip here. Hope this is helping. So common mistake 1, frame is too tight. Okay. Okay, let's talk about another common mistake. Okay. Another common mistake, I would say number two, would be too many shots. And what I usually see is there's one thing to have a variety of shots to mix up your sequence and to give it some vavoom and some other things like that. But you know, when I'm thinking in live action, okay, and let's just use it in the term of live action. When I'm storyboarding a live action scene, I don't want to have so many shots that it's just too much. You're talking about for a live action, you know, you have camera setup. You have camera setup. You have the blocking. You have your lighting. You have your sound. Okay, you have all these different things you need to set up for shot one, right? Shot two, shot three, shot four, and it becomes costly because unless if you're on a single camera shoot, it's a low budget indie film, or you're working on a mega blockbuster where there's multiple cameras shooting, and Tom Cruise is the movie star in another Mission Impossible movie or whatever it might be. You have more cameras and more budget to play with, but you still need to be economical because all of these setups are costing dollars, right? It's costing budget to do all this. And so if I have too many shots cutting around and all around, and what I mean by that is, let's just say I'm just cutting in between all these shots, and I have all these. Let's duplicate this a couple times. Do it one more time. And what I mean by this, friends, is that, okay, let's just say I have a shot of let's just say person one is talking. We'll have this guy here, and then you're going to shoot to, you know, person two, and he's going to be talking back. Give him a mustache so we know it's person two. Give him a hat or something. Okay, and what you're doing is you're just cutting randomly all the time just between these two people, you know, and it's just shot after shot. And you know, maybe we want to get a face expression off that guy, and then this guy's expression, you know, and he's like, what, you know, ha ha ha, you know, it's like it's just too many cuts, and it makes it confusing for your audience to go. You're getting flicked with so many different messages too, unless that's you're just trying to make it confusing or something for your audience, but there's a lot of shots here. You're putting a lot of extra dollars into all these setups and all these different changes of these shots and more editing time, where I can sit there and it's like, if I have two people talking, be more economic with your shots. So maybe you have a shot of here's the table here, And here's all the people. On the table, and what you could do is group the characters a little bit more. And what I'm saying is, instead of having all these different shots, leave that lock that shot down, and have the conversation that each of these people are acting. And everything is taking place within the picture frame, and you're using your staging and you're using your blocking, in terms of how these characters are moving around and within the shot. The other thing too is, I see this a lot too, is like we move the camera too much, now some certain things, if it's meant to be the camera's moving and tracking with a certain character because he's moving from this seated position, and then maybe this is step 1, step 2 he stands up, so that's step 2. I'm going to get a different color. So this is 1, this is 2, and say he's going to go over this way in the shot, walking out of the room, that makes sense. And then you're going to move, you're going to track the camera or whatever to follow that character, and he's going to go as we're tracking. And he goes into the next room. Maybe he's there to get maybe the water tank or whatever's there. They call this the moving master. Maybe he's getting a beverage or something there. And he walks over here. And he could walk back into that sequence as well and track that camera back again the other way, if that is making sense to you. So I think there's a lot of directors, Scorsese, Spielberg, Zemeckis. There's so many great directors out there. And they're doing the moving master shot, where they have the master shot and they're moving it through the whole sequence and the scene and stuff like that. And so instead of going cut, shot, as you're watching your film there, you can sit there and work with that, and be a little bit more conservative economically in the ways you have your shots, and sort of how many panels you're going to create. I think it's super important, unless that's what you're trying to do. There's always ways to break rules and those type of things, but I think that's something to sort of pay attention to in terms of what we're talking about. So this one here is too many shots that we're talking about, watching out for too many shots. We just spoke about 2 is about, the frame being too tight on a particular character, and that just doesn't give them any space inside the picture frame to act, to move around. It's always just their face, and you don't want to watch a movie where somebody's crying for 2 hours, so you need to have a little bit of space. We were just joking around about John Wick. You don't want to see close-ups of John Wick fighting so close, you don't see anything. Where's the car chase? Where you got to move it around a little bit. And then we're also talking now about too many shots, and usually we see this in different films, and it's not saying it's a good way or a bad way, but in a lot of martial art films you'll see a lot of cuts and a lot of edits in those shots for people that aren't really experienced martial artists or fighters, where you watch another film, something like in a Jackie Chan movie, where they literally have the whole fight sequence. It's all locked off. You might track with the characters a little bit, but other than that, it's just watching the performance of the actual martial artists doing their craft, and and doing the big fight sequences that are there. So compared to something where you can have somebody who has little basics fight knowledge, and you can just do so many different cuts within it to make it look like they're having a great impact in those shots, and that's why we have so much respect for some of the talent of Jackie Chan and others, where they're doing these extreme, locked off shots for the whole sequence is all in one shot. Or in the John Wick movie too, they have some really long shots, and you'll usually see that in really good martial art movies and stuff, just those long shots. Yet you'll see some sort of superhero movie with pow, 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 and it's just a million different shots hitting at you to try to show impact and stuff like that. And so there's some just different thoughts and those type of things, but a couple different things there. The other one I was going to talk about too, of is a lot of times newer artists. Let me go on to another page here. And I think another thing that people could work on as well, and watch out. Do this one now. Perspective. I think you need to know your perspective. You need to know you need to know your 1 point, 2 point, 3 point, and others. In terms of your perspective. I think it's important to do. Yes, you can fake perspective on it, but as long as you know how perspective works, it just makes it really important. And if I have a character, and you'll see me when I'm drawing, is I'll usually keep, let's just say I'll always have some sort of horizon line that I'm working with, and I'll just be faking it out, whichever way I'm working on it, in terms of my where's it's sort of a Dutch angle going on, but we want to show what's going on in that, in terms of perspective. And you don't need a lot of fancy perspective, and you can fake that perspective off, because you can have your character too and just move that perspective around. And what I mean by that, let me just do that one more time. Say I have something like this, and I have the let's just say my character's right here. Throw another layer behind it. And you can do is you can change your perspective. So if I copy this, let's not do that. Let's duplicate that. And let's you can change your perspective of how you're looking at this as well. So If I'm looking down at him, you can just change your perspective easily. So there's a couple different cheats in there that you can have some fun, but it's to know your perspective, and you know when things don't look right, and you can still sort of fake it, but you need to sort of have your perspective down. Whether if I'm you want to just make sure that the character is solid, the character is in their environment. You know, if I'm looking at a building landscape, have all the people walking in that environment, or it's the, what do you call it, the Ghostbuster building there. Yeah, what do you call it, the ectomobile. It's coming out of the Ghostbuster. The Ghostbuster arena or something, you know, or the Ghostbuster firehouse or something. You can see that it's going on there. So you can have some fun. But I think perspective is another lesson that we can jump into later and talk about 1 point, 2 point, 3 point perspective, in terms of other than just some simple cheats here. But I think common perspective is that people, things aren't working in perspective right, and those are opportunities for folks to get better at too. And when we're talking about perspective as well, and when we're talking about our picture frame and horizon lines, is that if I have a character or somebody in there, usually a lot of people, through another, their horizon line is always like dead center, or their horizon line is either too high. And one thing that you might want to do is usually the lower thirds, get your horizon line lower sometimes too, because usually most people have it at right here in the middle of the shot, or they have it too high. But if you just drop it down, you can do a lot with that too. So sometimes change your horizon lines. So lower thirds or horizon line. Watch. At mid or too high. Yeah, because I don't want to see that just down the center or too high all the time. You want to sort of leave it right there. Yay! Yeah, do something different with that. Okay. So we talked about too many shots. We talked about the frame is too hot, too tight. We talked about perspective. We've talked about dropping the horizon line to the lower thirds. I think another one would be your cuts. We were talking about too many shots, but let's talk about your cuts. Usually, you want to cut on an action, or maybe there's a huge boom or something like that. Don't cut to cut. You know what I mean? The same thing goes with the shots and having too many shots. And your camera moving all the time. If your camera is moving, because it's pretty cool. Okay, I'm gonna track the character or whatever. Now, if the story calls for that, in which you're reading and your director wants you to do that, then by all means go ahead and do that. But try to limit yourself on the amount of camera moves you're doing. I forgot what number we're on. We're at 4 or 5. Call this number 5. Like I said today, watch your cuts. Okay. And what I mean that is your edits in between each of your storyboard shots. If you're moving every 2 seconds there too, but just sort of watch your cuts. What are you cutting on? Cut on action. You can cut on a sound, etc., like that. But it's usually we're cutting on action, in terms of like if I'm sitting down the character sitting down at the table, don't have him stand up, walk to right of frame, and then cut to him walking along still. Showing him getting up from the table about halfway through, then cut, and so he finishes motion and then moves out of frame that way. And what I mean by that is like, okay, he's sitting there on the table or sitting there in this area, and there's all these people sitting around the table, and when he gets up in that shot, have him stand up. He's in the process of, this is step 1, step 2. Then you can, before he's fully stepped up or whatever, then you can cut that shot. Or maybe this is a bad example. So maybe this character here is in the process of getting up, and then maybe the next shot he is up. Here was the guy next to him, sitting at the table, and he's fully up now. So then you can have some understanding of how you're doing these shots. But you want to edit your shot on the cut itself of the movement. And then the other thing I was talking about was just watch your camera movements. Because it's cool to have all these tracking shots and crane shots or whatever we're doing, but unless the story is calling for it, try to keep the camera locked. So I'm not saying keep it locked all the time, but when you're thinking of your filmmaking, of what you're doing, I would say move camera only when needed. Don't move just move. Purpose only. Purpose. Move the camera with purpose. Don't just move it to move it. So, any questions here? I'm going to take a sip of my drink. Hope everybody's having a good time listening. I hope this is helpful to you as we talk about the new beginner, if you're a beginning storyboard artist, and what are the pitfalls and mistakes to watch out for, and how to remedy those mistakes. Any questions? Drop them in the chat. Love to see. I know we got a lot of great people on asking some great questions and some good stuff. Anything in there? Anything else? Gives me a second here to wet my whistle. Okay, talked about 7 different actions here. Let's add a few more. So we're still talking about common mistakes. I think we're on number 8. Number 8 would be, I would say over render your shots. So what I mean by that over render shots is, you know, most storyboard. Let me pull up an image real quick and drop that down for you. See if I can do that easy. Let me find a shot. I'm just going to pull something up for you real quick. Come on, show me an over-rendered shot. Let me do this real quick. What I mean by that is, like, here I pulled this off of my Instagram here. it's like something like this. This is like too too much. I was doing this for a printable board for a project, but you know, this would be something where it's too much detail, too much. Simplify this a little bit, and you know, it's just a little too much, you know, in terms of that. You want your boards to be simple, not so complicated. Maybe if I had a, you know, this was a beat board and it was in a book or something like that. Yeah, knock yourself out, have some fun with it. But this is a little bit of overkill in terms of the amount of detail that you want to do when you're storyboarding. You don't want to fall in love with your drawings. You want your drawings to be disposable and you know, keep it pretty simple. So if I was to redraw this particular character and use this as an example for my work, what I would do with this, let's drop her down a little bit, her opacity. As we talk about this for over detailing. And again, I think like Robert Valley, keeping stuff. Robert Valley is a fantastic character designer and storyboard artist. Very simple in his approach, yet his artwork is so complicated. You know, it looks. So when I'm looking at something like this, I would just keep it pretty simple in terms of what we have going on here. Picking up the line. I would keep it just simple. Okay. This is what I mean by over rendering your board. So you pretty much have your line art and keep your board simple like that, because the board on the right example, the fully rendered, it's just it's a more of an illustration. I would use this either for a concept drawing, or I'd use it for a book of, art of book type of thing. And when you're doing these drawings, I would just keep it really simple, and what I mean by that is just keep it simple, get to the point of what you're doing. I would keep it more of the line art. We have so many boards to draw for a sequence. And if I was going to do it, I'd keep it simple line art. The other thing you can do too is just no more than like 3 tones. On that drawing as well. That'll help to keep it simple for you. And when is figure out your 3 tones that you're going to have. What you're trying not to do is try not to overcomplicate your picture by over rendering. So you can sort of get the idea of a simple drawing. You don't want to fall in love with your drawing. And we did the same drawing here over the artwork I created, where this is like super complicated, where this is more, it's giving you the image of what you're doing. Maybe she's casting some sort of spell, something like that, if she was going to cast a spell, or maybe she has I can add some simple tone on there. Change it to some sort of if she had a spell or something like that. We just keep it simple, because we're going to have a lot of drawings going on, and if we're drawing at that image on the right level, you're never going to get that project done, and you're never going to be able to submit it to your director or your client. It just takes too much work. Yet this other image, you watch me just draw it real quick. It took minutes, just to put that together, and then you can move her around in the sequence and that type of stuff. So cool. So yeah, another comment: over rendering your shots. Keep it simple, in terms of what you're doing there too. And then use those tones for, and you can also use those tones for foreground, middle ground, background in terms of what you're doing, as a little cheat as well. So think of, let me write that down. Think line art. 3 tones. So 3 tonal values. Keep it simple in terms of what you're doing as well. And then also think foreground, middle ground, background, in terms of what you're thinking there too. And then the big one, like I said, is don't over render your drawings in terms of what you're doing. A couple other things too I'm going to throw in here real quick. Throw a save on this. So I can save our notes. We were talking about this in an earlier lesson too, and I forgot what number we're on. So another one is watching your silhouette. So when you're drawing a character, let's get some black in there. So let's say I'm having some character here. Let's say I have a character, and I'm drawing a female character. Female character is going to have that hourglass figure. Okay. And what I mean by this, let's copy this as well. So let's put that right here and right here. What would be my silhouette is that, let's just say her hands are here, her legs are there, whichever way we're going. And we create tangents. So if this character was in silhouette, you wouldn't see your tangents are going into each other. You wouldn't see anything. You're like, what? Your mind goes and looks at that image, just goes, what is that? Even though we just got rid of the body, but what if you drew the body? So everything was open, and all the arms and legs were open to that character and acting and that type of stuff. Now you don't have any tangents, so you're not hiding the lines of the character. So maybe she has this hand on her hip. She's yelling at you. It's down here. So when I go to color this character in more of a silhouette style, you can see all the appendages, you can see all the parts of the character acting. And it's not all hidden. So how can you use silhouette to draw your character so you know it's a character? Here we like this one here because it's clear, it's readable. We like that. You know, this had too many tangents. We don't like that. And you know, on that side, that's sort of what we want to be seeing. Okay. A few things I wrote down too is that you know, when we're talking about this, it's about having clear silhouettes. You know, if you can see your character in silhouette, the better it's the clarity of the image it's going to be. The other thing too is watch. Another common mistake is so say you have emotion or something like that. When you're having emotion, you don't want to either have your storyboard or your character within the storyboard either in profile you don't want to show emotion in profile. Can't see everything. When you're doing emotion, it would be better if you're front on. With the character, if this character is happy, we want to see her face on and see her acting and those type of things. We don't want to see her in a profile. So when you see stuff like that, you don't want to I'd hesitate to do that. You want to see the character full on, front on. If you're going to do this, you want to see that. That'll make an interesting and good character. And while we're on the topic of heads and stuff, you never want to watch. I don't say you don't want to ever, but you watch yourself having that character so say this is your main character and they're having a lot of dialogue this way. Try not to show I'm not saying don't ever use it, but all I was thinking was just stay away. From back of head. Watch use. You know, I got it, but it's like at the same time, watch using that back of the head all the time. You know, or if there's big dialogue being given and you're shooting the back of the head, you know, try to stay away from that in terms of what you're doing. Turn this all off. And then one final one I'll leave you with. Throw a new layer in there. Is no gesture. Characters look too flat. They look too flat. Okay. And what I mean by that is that when you have some emotion in your character, have your character emoting some sort of body language, and that's where your gesture drawings really help out. Draw with you know, your solution to this problem is to draw with gesture. Draw with gestures. Move that body. Body language. Body language for what you're doing. And you want to see that character move around in whichever way you feel most confident in your drawing ability. You know, have that character. have some body language in those gestures. You know, move those bodies around, have some fun with it, make it work, you know. I would always say take the time, do those gesture drawings. In terms of what you're doing, have some gesture, you know, in terms of your drawings. Don't let your characters look flat all the time. If that's all you can do, that's all you can do. But even the simplest of drawings, have some gesture to those drawings. So keeping it simple. You know, we've talked a lot about a lot of different things tonight in terms of, you know, my own journey, things I've run into, and those aspects. So let's do a quick little recap real quick of everything that we talked about tonight, and sort of to help you with, you know, storyboarding or mistakes that are made by beginner storyboard artists, and how, you know, trying to get that fixed. Frame too tight is going to be something that we're going to be watching, and simply just shrink that frame by 10-20%. Give some acting room in that shot. Don't keep it too so tight. Let the actor, let the talent act within the shot in terms of what you're doing. Number two would be, say, too many shots. You know, just one after the next for no really reason. You know, your editor is going to go crazy with all those shots, unless that's the point of what you're trying to do. Try to group things together, group characters together. We were talking about a table setting. I'm thinking of like Quentin Tarantino at the beginning of his film. He sort of had his master shot. You saw all the characters around the big, I guess, breakfast table, having breakfast before the heist. And you can sort of pair them off and get different shapes out of it. But group characters together. The viewer gets overwhelmed with so many different shots. Perspective. Know your perspective. What makes, you know, how does perspective work, and anchoring those characters onto the solid surface of the 3 dimensions in terms of what you're doing. We talked about the horizon line. Usually in the horizon, everybody's at this mid-level or at the top. Try to get down in your lower thirds of your screen. You know, don't just cut for cutting's sake. When you're doing an edit between each of your sequence shots or your shots themselves, do it on a movement. Do it on something else. Don't have unnecessary camera moves. Everything should have a purpose in terms of what you're doing. We talked about, you know, a gesture. We talked about tangents and working in silhouette. So if if you're drawing a female character that's down the road, and she looks like a mummy, if all the tangents, her arms are all cut off and everything. So have those gesture drawings, have that movement within your shot. Try to stay away from the back of the head, just shooting every time, or if that character is giving important dialogue, you're just shooting the back of their head. You want to see their face. You want to see the importance of everything. The other trick was, don't do profile acting either. So if I'm emitting emotion, I don't want to be. You can't see everything when I'm like, oh. You want to be able to, you want to see more emotion in terms of what you're doing. And then just a couple other tips is think like a cinematographer when you're doing your drawings. Keep your drawings simple. Use line art. Use no more than 3 tones. The more scratches and scribbles you put on that drawing, the more time it's taking. And I think the big thing is, don't fall in love with your images. These aren't Rembrandt and Picasso, illustrations or paintings. These are a means to communicate and tell a story, in terms of what you're doing. A couple more points is have clarity. Your story points should be clear, and if you're keeping those lines simple, you're using no more than 3 tones. You can keep your storyboard shots simple, to the point, and at the end of the day, we're trying to tell a story. We can't use words to tell a story, or word bubbles, or action words. We need to be able to tell a story visually. So in a sense, it's like watching your movie, turning off the sound, and I should be able to see the work you're producing and understand where we are, what's the story, what's the subtext, just by your drawings. And that makes this a very complicated job to do. It's a much needed job to make sure that we're creating those blueprints for those blockbuster films, feature animations, those animated TV shows, or streaming shows, or music videos, or cutscenes for your video games. And in another side point of just the medium itself, is comics. Comics are treated a little bit different, but to a certain degree. But you still are visually storytelling, doing establishing shots, mid shots, full shots, master shots. You're still going to be doing all that in there. So I hope this video tonight and this live stream was super helpful for you. Sharing my sort of journey and processes of things that I've run across, that I've seen either in my own work or in portfolio work that I've been reviewing. And I thought that would be most helpful to you friends getting into this industry. So again, I appreciate you watching. I invite you to subscribe. By subscribing, it lets me know you're interested in seeing more of this fantastic content. And I got a lot of things up my sleeve I'm working on. I got to go hit those videos tomorrow. And I happen to be off tomorrow, so I'll be working on all those cool videos to be able to put up here on the channel. I appreciate everybody sharing your notes from earlier. I will take that and put that in my notebook of future live streams to be talking about, and to be able to give you greater value from your feedback. So I appreciate everybody watching. Don't forget to like and drop a comment into the chat. I hope this was helpful again. I just want to say thank you to everyone that participated in the live stream. That's Tornado T. Thanks so much for joining in. I got Bud Habeli. Thank you so much for joining in. I got Maria. I have Useless Guy. They gave me a lot of technical information on OBS. Thanks so much. And see if there's anybody else here. Tornado T, got you already. Cool. Appreciate you joining in. And then you folks at home that are watching this in the replay, thanks for taking the time to watch. I really appreciate it. If you did enjoy the material today, please drop a like in the comments and drop a comment that you liked it. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a future video. I will see you friends back on Thursday for our sketching after hours session. And I look forward to having another great session. I appreciate all the support. You folks have a fantastic night, and I will see you in the next video. Take care for now.